how did this role for you come about?
It was like no other story in Hollywood. I didn't go through the run-of-the-mill auditions or anything. James apparently was notified by Donna Gelati, who's the producer of the movie, and she said, I found your Claudia Cardinal. I guess they were looking for a modern version of that. And she had seen 3:10 to Yuma. The premiere was like the following week. He saw it, and he pretty much hired me from there, which is, like I said, unheard of. I met him at a pizza parlor, and then we sealed the deal. It was pretty unique.
How did you get into that character?
Part of it was just really letting the scene unfold. I felt like she was already on the page. Just very sweet and genuine, kind of awkward. I loved the rapport between her and Leonard, and I never felt like she was dishonest. She was very straightforward, and, I could find all the cracks and crevices with her. She wasn't hard to create. The only difficult thing was doing an accent. I really wanted to do an accent, and James was not happy about that. And he actually told me, I don't want an accent, because anyone who does a New York accent sounds inevitably like Guys and Dolls, like, some really bad, awful accent. And I said, oh my gosh, I promise you I won't do that. He says, well, okay, well, we'll see. And so then I was just on pins and needles thinking, oh my gosh, if I do this, and he's going to think I'm, a hack. And I ended up doing it, and he didn't even notice until after we finished the scene. So one day he's, called me up and said, did you do an accent? I said, yeah. And he said, it was good. It was very good. And I was like, oh, what a relief,
How did you feel about the way your character ended in the movie? How did you feel about the ending for her?
I thought, in her perspective, it was her dream come true. There's the ring. Okay, all mistakes are erased, even though she's pretty much thinks he's perfect as he is. But it is a very glossy ending for Sandra, for sure. Leonard's so quick to change his mind, he probably would change his mind again. But he could very well just have comfort in her arms, but at the same time, would she really want that? Is she really someone who's going to be taking care of him for the rest of her life? I don't know. Will she get bored of that? Maybe she really wants a real man instead of a project.
Was there any part of her that you could relate to, actually, in your real life?
I related to her love for her family. She's really rooted in her family. I really understood that. And although I'm not fully Jewish, I have some Jewish heritage, so I really related with that as well. I really appreciated her straightforwardness, her honesty, and her directness, even though she's very awkward. I found that a very good combination.
Did James tell you any of the background of these actual characters?
We didn't fully flesh it out, but I do feel personally that she had great suitors and people that really were good catches, and she just didn't find them interesting. I think that's Sandra's biggest flaw, is she wants to go for the unpredictable and dangerous person. Make him a project.
What was it, do you think, that she saw in him immediately? Because she only saw him from afar. She didn't know he was a project yet.
Yes,
so
right.
What do you think it was that drew her to?
I think what's so great about the way Joaquin plays Leonard is that he's so sweet and charming and vulnerable and dorky, and he isn't afraid to make fun of himself, and he's not very self-conscious. You gotta admit, like, a girl, when she sees a guy with his mother and how cute he is with his mother, I'm sure her heart melted. And that was it for her, It's kind of, when love strikes, it's kind of irrational, and really, it's just you saw him across the crowded room, and that was it, and hers across the dry cleaning. And
they say that good girls like bad guys. Do you think the opposite is true in this story, that, a good guy liking a bad girl in Gwyneth's character?
Well, I think his character is really at a crossroads in his life. I think he's suffering from major heartbreak. He was supposed to get married, and this crazy freak, genetic disease comes up, and he can't marry her. And so he's thinking, now what is love? I had the perfect love, and he's kind of in a dangerous place, obviously almost committing suicide and wanting to take his life again, and then meeting these two women. So he's in a dark place, and I think that the darkness in Gwyneth's character, the explosiveness and the spontaneity and the kind of devil-may-care attitude is what's more attractive to him.
What's it like working with Joaquin?
No.
He seems very intense. Is it like that on the set, working with him?
He is very intense.
Yep.
He is. I don't think he treats acting lightly. I don't think he treats his characters lightly. I think he's very serious about what he does, and he puts his whole heart into it, and the character kind of takes him. I appreciated his dedication because, believe me, there's many actors in Hollywood where you're like, do you even care more than about the way you look or that you're famous, He's really genuine and brings so much to a character that I wouldn't even have seen.
Does he maintain that in between shots? I mean, is he in character? Does he maintain it?
Yeah,
shooting?
He does.
I'm imagining.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's probably very taxing on his own psyche, but
especially
he
a character
does.
like that. No breaks for rap singing. He's got this rap career going on.
No, he didn't try his rhymes out on me. No.
Good. Too bad.
You've probably been asked this a bunch of times, but we just kind of have to. Do you think he's serious about it? I mean, post working on the film, like doing publicity things with him, do you get the sense he genuinely, or is it?
I have no idea. It's really perplexing to me too. So I don't know.
Sorry, you've been working with so many amazing directors, James Mangold, with D. Allen and Stanley Kubrick. Particularly, I want to ask about the Stanley Kubrick. How's the experience working with him like?
Stanley Kubrick was a complete perfectionist. He allowed me. It was the first time that I could free myself from the perfectionism of being a child actor. Like when you're young and doing films, all you have to do is worry about hitting your mark, saying your lines naturally, and giving the producer less grief about, causing any trouble towards the budget, So that movie really liberated me as an actor. I was thinking about not continuing acting because I didn't experience any sort of richness or, what the process was about. And I kind of had an aha moment with Stanley. It was like, wow, this is what acting's about. I always say, like, working with him was like being an athlete in the zone. Like, you after a while, everything falls away, and then you can just be the character, just doing it. But it was maddening to some people because he would sit there and, light something for 1,000,000 hours and then go home and start the next day, and, that would drive people crazy. James, he's made, what I experienced with Stanley Kubrick into a smaller budgeted version. He allows you to feel free within the confines of a small budget, and I didn't ever feel when we were rehearsing or playing out a scene that I had to hurry up. He actually wanted me to do more in terms of the boundaries of the character. He wanted me to play it completely. For instance, the cafe scene, he wanted us to play it from the perspective, the one end of the spectrum of not knowing anything about what's going on and actually being afraid to even talk to him and just worrying about him and looking at him, and that's it. And then to the extreme of confronting him and feeling upset about it and saying, I know that you're with someone. So he wanted to get the gamut of emotions, and then it ended up being somewhere in the middle.
When you give a range like that, it must be interesting to watch the final project and see, all right, what did he pick?
Yes, I was freaked out. I was thinking, oh my gosh, what is final product going to be? I was thinking, I have no idea what my character's going to be like. She could be a mess, But I trusted him, whatever he wanted for his project.
What does it say, about this, the nature of relationships and, figuring out if he's just not into you? Or...
Right. I know, there's that movie out too, right? No True Love Stories. No, I'm kidding. Well, this is not a romantic comedy, as you well know, but I think it embodies all the truth of love, from unrequited love to crushes to, dark love to homey love, bright love. I feel that it kind of tells the truth, the glaring truth of what love is, and it really shows all spectrums of love and just not the romantic comedy version.